Many relationship advisors advocate for finding your better half. Yet the renowned thinker Simone de Beauvoir, who reshaped our understanding of affection, warned against such notions as deceptive pitfalls. Together with Jean-Paul Sartre, Beauvoir created an unconventional alliance that shocked Paris but sustained their union through 5 tumultuous decades. The secret to their enduring bond? Beauvoir contended that genuine closeness isn't about merging two incomplete beings but creating a union between two fully independent entities. In this segment, we delve into her unspoken principle of romance. You must safeguard your partner's liberty as fiercely as your own, or risk having desire suffocate beneath the weight of ownership. If you've ever sensed a diminishment of your selfhood within a relationship, or feared that allowing space might lead to separation, stay with us. Beauvoir's revolutionary framework elucidates how two complete individuals can ignite a flame that never consumes either. For Beauvoir, the essence of love starts at what she terms the existential ground zero, an encounter of two awarenesses, each recognizing the other's vibrancy and autonomy. Rather than a quest for lost halves seeking wholeness, intimacy unfolds as a collaboration where both enter as complete selves and emerge enlarged. Freedom thus emerges as the sole true currency. Every act of care should enhance, not restrain, the other's freedom. Before contemplating the nature of your partnership or setting combined aspirations, perform a quick freedom audit. Identify a personal dream you'd never relinquish, even for the most enchanting romance. If articulating it feels daunting, that's precisely the point. It is this dream that forms the bedrock of genuine connection, not surplus baggage to discard. When partners defend each other's autonomy, instead of surrendering it for security, they unleash a creative dynamism beyond the reach of standard, forever after vows. However, imperiling that autonomy by reducing the other to a defined role sows seeds of waning desire. This reduction begins subtly when your partner is treated as the other, and we'll explore more about this paradigm shift next. Simone de Beauvoir's penetrating insight in the second sex argues that intimacy collapses when one partner starts viewing the other as an object, the other rather than as a sovereign subject. Cultural norms make such objectification commonplace. Phrases like "my better half," the transactional nature of dating apps, and even well-intentioned compliments "you complete me," cast the cherished one as a role to consume, not as a consciousness to engage. Initially, this objectification appears innocuous, praising a partner's reliability, expecting them to alleviate every worry, but it erodes the balance that vitalizes desire. Once we rely on them to be predictable caregivers or adventurers to show off, curiosity fades, communication turns to commands, and the relationship stiffens into a safety contract. Beauvoir maintained that authentically loving someone requires acknowledging they have desires, anxieties, and paths unseen by you. While this truth may invoke trepidation, "what if they surpass me?" or envy, "why seek solitude?" embracing it is essential for authentic connection. Modern psychology supports her view. A 2024 meta-analysis in personal relationships found couples that routinely recognize each other's autonomy report 30% more long-term contentment and exhibit lower concealed resentment levels. Consider your language for traces of othering. Do your praises focus on how your partner serves you? "She stabilizes me, he manages the finances." Or do they honor who they are, irrespective of direct benefits to you? Shifting from the first kind of praise to the second transforms the tone from ownership to partnership. Try a minor intervention tonight. Replace "thanks for cooking, you're such a savior" with "I admire your creativity with flavors." One highlights service, the other applauds agency. Such minor linguistic adjustments restore the mutual subject-subject stance Beauvoir advocated, and standing on this foundation, you can delve into deep practices of safeguarding each other's freedom without losing closeness. This equilibrium is the driving force of what she deems genuine intimacy, the theme of our next section. According to Beauvoir, authentic intimacy can only surface when lovers see each other as entire subjects, never a subject observing an object. Practically, this means each partner retains the authorship of their life while allowing the other to explore, critique, and even co-author chapters. Evidence of occupying this subject-subject axis lies in decision-making processes. Do you both articulate desires using first-person statements? "I wish to spend Saturday hiking," rather than "as you wish, dear"? Do plans get negotiated until a new shared option surfaces instead of someone silently acquiescing? Relationship scholars term this dynamic reciprocal influence, and longitudinal research from the University of Michigan shows couples practicing this report not only higher satisfaction, but improved individual self-esteem over 10 years. Preserving subject-subject territory also requires embracing friction. Difference in perspectives between partners shouldn't threaten but affirm active engagement. Beauvoir and Sartre openly debated topics such as politics, art, and fidelity, invigorating their partnership. Contrast that with unions where one partner becomes an enduring accommodator, resentment festers in the stale air of unvoiced aspirations. A simple test: if conflicts resemble collaborative problem-solving instead of confrontational trials, or worse, silent standoffs, you treat each other as subjects, not service personnel. To foster this position, schedule what Beauvoir might refer to as existential check-ins. Monthly, discuss 2 questions. What direction do you feel drawn to recently? And how can we recalibrate our shared life to support that pursuit? Answers evolve, and that fluidity is crucial. By perpetually validating each other's autonomy, you ensure the relationship remains dynamic and forward-looking, which Beauvoir saw as vital for keeping desire alive. However, acknowledging independence is just a part of the equation. You must also defend it against the insidious pull of jealousy and control, a tension Beauvoir meticulously examined, which we will explore in the subsequent section. Simone de Beauvoir illuminated that the initial rupture in intimate bonds arises when freedom subtly acquiesces to control. Jealousy for her signified less a declaration of love than a trepidation of losing one's borrowed identity. If they can function without me, who am I? Such anxiety often cloaks itself as devotion, habitual check-ins, possessive jests, minor rebuffs against new friendships, yet each possessive act constricts the space where 2 equal subjects truly flourish. To uncover these patterns before they solidify, undertake a 3-question jealousy assessment. Firstly, when a pang of jealousy arises, question, what personal insecurity does this provoke? Recognizing, I fear I'm uninteresting, redirects focus from controlling your partner to self-improvement. Secondly, interrogate, did I just see their independence as a threat rather than a boon? If affirmative, reframe the situation as proof you're loving a complete, evolving individual. Lastly, pose, what thoughtful request can I make that honors both our liberties? Perhaps clearer communication about plans is needed, not prohibiting friendships. Behavioral studies find couples transforming jealousy into introspection, and open dialogue report improved trust and enhanced desire after 6 months, compared to those suppressing or dramatizing it. Implementing this assessment changes jealousy from a possessive reflex into a growth stimulus, sustaining both partners' freedom and the relationship's vitality. The task ahead is channeling that freedom into a common endeavor, shared aspirations expanding both your realms rather than confining them. Unchecked freedom might veer towards parallel lives, prompting Beauvoir to advocate that lovers also design a united endeavor, an undertaking neither could accomplish alone, yet both can renounce if restricting. She and Sartre referred to their connection as essential, allowing contingent associations not threatening their core alliance. Their shared foundation wasn't theoretical. They co-edited publications, appraised each other's literary work, engaged in robust political debates, forming an intellectual crucible sharpening both minds. To craft a modern adaptation, pick a shared ambition that excites you both, launch a side venture, draft a blog, champion a community cause, and create a concise charter. Detail the goal, non-negotiable freedoms, solo journeys, creative sovereignty, and reassessment points where either can renegotiate or exit without indictment. Findings from the 2023 Relationship Lab at UCLA indicate couples engaging in a mutual passion while preserving personal autonomy report a 25% increase in long-term commitment scores and describe feeling more alive together than apart. When your partnership harbors a project enhancing both futures, and when either can retreat without repercussion, you realize Beauvoir's aspiration. 2 autonomous selves, continually electing to advance in shared exploration. Even couples emphasizing liberty risk, slipping into predetermined roles unconsciously. Simone de Beauvoir attributed this backslide to antiquated narratives, the perpetual provider, the incessantly available caretaker, the good spouse valued primarily for domestic contributions. She argued traditional marriage functioned less as a romantic sacrament than as a transactional agreement, an unseen contract exchanging financial security for unpaid labor and sexual fidelity. Uncritically inheriting these roles transitions a partnership from a meeting of equals to an unsanctioned job description. Passion devolves into duty, curiosity replaced by unsanctioned evaluations. To maintain a fluid relationship, conduct a weekly script check. Set aside 10 minutes and each ask yourselves one question: which role did I feel confined to this week, and how did it impact my identity? Perhaps you find yourself acting as the unappointed therapist, absorbing all distress calls, or as the inevitable planner tasked with organizing every outing. Speaking these roles aloud allows both partners to renegotiate responsibilities before frustration sets in. Then switch perspectives. What role did you see me slipping into? This shift helps reveal biases we may ignore in ourselves, like assuming you should handle finances because you're deemed better with numbers. Conclude by selecting a small change to disrupt the routine. Switch who plans the next outing, swap cooking duties, or agree that both can refuse emotional labor when exhausted. According to anthropologist Deborah Tannen's 2024 study, couples who perform regular role evaluations not only distribute tasks more equitably but also experience heightened erotic energy without being trapped in a stereotype. Desire is free to explore anew. Beauvoir would describe this as pure eroticism, two autonomous identities in constant motion, resisting the urge to solidify into stagnant forms. Yet, breaking away from scripts can provoke backlash, both internal guilt and external scrutiny, which is why Beauvoir's own life remains a subject of heated debate. In upcoming sections, we'll explore the rumors, correspondence, and contemporary discussions that continue to swirl around her unconventional agreement, shedding light on current perceptions of intimacy. Simone de Beauvoir's concept of reciprocal freedom was so revolutionary that it turned her life into a public debate over the nature of liberated love. Stories suggest she and Sartre curated a box of intertwined romances, analyzing each affair through letters as philosophical material. Her letters to a much younger student, published later, sparked heated debates about power dynamics long before the #MeToo movement amplified these issues. Admirers argue her openness illustrates that desire can exist alongside transparency. Opponents claim that unequal experiences could skew any free decision towards exploitation. Modern advocates of polyamory cite the Sartre-Beauvoir arrangement as early proof that ethical non-monogamy can succeed when core love is distinguished from secondary pursuits. Still, biographers acknowledge the emotional strain. Beauvoir often wrote about feeling jealous when Sartre's other romances seemed intense, a reminder that philosophy does not erase human vulnerability. In 2022, French scholars revisiting her diaries argued that embracing these darker emotions, not suppressing them, actually deepened the couple's intellectual connection, showing that freedom and discomfort can grow together. Meanwhile, social media reduces her story to polarizing soundbites. Some praise her as the pioneer of open relationships, others caution she normalized imbalanced dynamics. Truth lies in the nuances. Her letters verify continuous boundary negotiation, illustrating an ongoing dialogue rather than silent compliance. So, what lesson does this provide for our own relationships? Primarily, open frameworks require ongoing adjustment. Beauvoir's lifelong boundary redefinitions demonstrate that freedom is a dynamic agreement, not a one-off proclamation. Secondly, confronting jealousy honestly despite its ego-bruising nature keeps transparency viable. Lastly, all modern echoes, whether celebratory or critical, emphasize this core message. Safeguarding two freedoms always invites complexity and debate, but avoiding the discourse guarantees stagnation. In the concluding section, we'll distill this complex legacy into Beauvoir's singular unspoken principle, the daily practice that enables intimacy to flourish without swallowing the identities that sustain it. At the core of Beauvoir's legacy emerges a simple yet profound principle. Intimacy endures only when each partner protects the other's freedom as fiercely as their own. She never emblazoned this as a slogan, but her letters, essays, and everyday actions illuminate it vividly. When Sartre's new affair threatened her confidence, she didn't restrict him. Instead, She assessed what unexplored territory she herself was ignoring. Similarly, whenever Sartre's curiosity seemed to wane, she encouraged him to pursue projects that rekindled it, even if it meant spending less time together. This perspective reverses conventional ideas of devotion. The goal isn't to keep someone near by clipping their wings, but to foster an environment where both departure and return feel secure. You can embody this principle through a ritual Beauvoir might recognize: the monthly freedom forecast. On the first weekend of every month, sit together and vocally answer 2 questions. What new horizon is calling me now? And how can we adjust our shared life to let us both pursue our dreams without losing our connection? Perhaps one partner yearns for a solo backpacking adventure, while the other wants to attend night classes in a subject the first finds uninteresting. Instead of trading autonomy, you must give up your plans if I feel lonely. Create support systems, plan check-ins, budget reallocation, or temporary redistribution of tasks that permit both ventures. Sociologists studying egalitarian couples suggest that such rituals not only maintain trust but also reignite attraction, since nothing is more compelling than witnessing a partner evolve. This unspoken rule also necessitates small gestures of reverence in daily interactions. Celebrate choices that don't revolve around you. Resist the need to scrutinize text messages or social circles, and view jealousy as an opportunity to reflect on your stagnation rather than restrict their freedom. When applied consistently, these gestures convey, your growth will never become my confinement. The reassurance reciprocates. Secure in their freedom, both partners choose each other anew rather than out of habit. When partners become mutual guardians of autonomy, intimacy ceases to be a negotiation and transforms into a harmonious collaboration, which is precisely the subject-subject dynamic Beauvoir envisioned as defying time, ennui, and all inherited conceptions of what partners must forsake to remain in love. Beauvoir's map of intimacy redefines the assumptions most relationships impose. She insists that 2 whole individuals, not 2 incomplete halves, establish a foundation rooted in existentialism. She warns against language that objectifies and labels a partner as the other, stifling intrigue and passion. She demonstrates how authentic dialogue between subjects flourishes amidst tension, positions jealousy as an opportunity for self-improvement rather than control, and combines freedom with a joint endeavor that enhances both individuals. By breaking down traditional role expectations through regular assessments and reflecting on her own partnership with Sartre, she emphasizes that safeguarding autonomy is messy yet crucial. Her unspoken rule encapsulates it all: safeguard your partner's freedom as strongly as your own, or witness passion solidify into possession. If you're ready to examine her framework, try a freedom forecast this weekend. Ask yourselves what new frontiers are calling to you and how the relationship can adapt to let each pursuit enhance rather than diminish the bond. Then share freedom chosen in the comments and share one change you're implementing. Like this video if Beauvoir's radical insights resonate with you. Subscribe for more transformative perspectives on love and personal growth. And activate notifications so you never miss our next in-depth discussion. Because the future of intimacy belongs to those who dare to reconstruct the rules together.